Hi and welcome to our next session in our antenatal pregnancy yoga sequences. We're going to go through just some gentle floor stretches today for upper body and lower body. So just a nice, quick, gentle way of relaxing the body and mind. So we're going to start in a seated position. I'm perched on a block. You could sit on a cushion, a blanket, or if you wanted to, you could use your bolster or a chair for the start of the session. So before we get moving, let's just bring that body and mind together, slowing you down from whatever you've been doing during the day, and just give you this opportunity to connect with baby. So just getting comfortable, finding that upright position. And first of all, let's just take a nice deep breath in, tensing up through the shoulders, the fists, the toes, the jaw, and then exhale, just letting go. Let's take that again. Nice big breath in and out. And then let's bring one hand to baby and one hand to heart. And I invite you now just to close the eyes or drop the eye line, whatever you feel comfortable. And let's just start to bring our focus into our golden thread breath, our relaxation breath. So slowly breathing in through the nose. And if you can, out through the mouth. And here with each breath, just start to feel the belly rise and fall. Calming the body and the mind. Any tension that you're holding now in the face, around the eyes, the jaw, just let that go with each exhale. Feeling space across the chest and shoulders as you inhale. And then those shoulders, arms all the way through to the fingertips, relax with that exhale. The pelvis, the lower back, the hips are soft and heavy. Again, using that outward breath just to let go. The thighs, the calves, the feet. Releasing any tension that you're holding. And with a little focus on the mind, maybe the worries of the day or something related to your pregnancy. Just try and use that breath now just to release those worries away so that you can enjoy the movement in today's practice. Just take 4 more full breaths here. Hopefully now that exhale is just starting to lengthen and the body's feeling a little heavier. The mind a little more focused on the body now. Again, if you hear any noises, distractions around you, voices, sounds, just let them drift by and keep your focus in to your body. As we blink the eyes open now, let's just take a lovely big stretch up of the arms. Big breath in, looking up towards the fingers, into prayer position. Exhale as we bring the hands down. And again, big breath in and out. Good, one more here. And out. Good. Taking that left arm out to the side, reaching those fingertips away from you. With your right hand, just gently pull over into a neck stretch. Breath in here. As we exhale, release the head and the fingertips away from one another. And again, breath in and out. And then let's switch sides. Reaching that right hand away, using that left hand just to pull you over into that neck stretch. Breathing in. Exhale, softening and melting into that stretch. And one more here. And out. Good. Releasing the hands. Let's interlock the fingers now. Push the heels of the hands forwards and just round the spine away from me. Gentle tuck of the chin, and this time breathing into the back of the body. Inhale, we're going to lift the arms and chest. Soft through the shoulders. Exhale, round away, making that little curve in the spine, gently drawing baby inwards. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we lower. Good. Inhale as we lift. We're going to leave the arms up this time and take a little side bend over to the left. Breathing into that right side of the body. And then exhale, coming back gently to center. Let's go the other way. Breathing into that left side now. And then exhale, coming back to center. Taking the arms out to the side, turning the palms forwards, and then just gently pull the fingertips back, feeling that space from the middle finger right the way across the body to the opposite middle finger, and then releasing the palms. So we've got a wrist stretch here, a neural stretch. So anybody that's suffering with carpal tunnel, this is a really nice one. It might even feel a little bit tingly down the arms. But again, as we get later into pregnancy, as our boobs start to grow a little bit and our chest becomes tighter, we get pulled forwards all the time. So just opening that chest gives us a little bit of space. Let's take the hands down and over to the left as we breathe in again to that right side of the body, lengthening that arm away and then switching sides. Okay, keep flowing with that breath. I've got my sit bones nice and anchored down into the block or the cushion below. As I soften through that side of the body, making a little bit more space in the ribs. And again, we all know as we make space, baby just takes it up. So we just keep moving and flowing. Good. Last one here. And over and through. Good. We're going to take the arms into the back of the head now. And as I exhale, I'm just going to drop the chin to chest, bring the elbows forwards, and then as I inhale, I'm opening up and back. So we're creating a little bit of a curve just through the upper body, and then expanding back as if someone's pulling into my elbows. I don't want to be popping forwards in that lower back, so just try and keep that spine nice and straight as you come up. Again, finding some space in the back of the spine, the thoracic spine, which is our upper spine here. This gets really stiff as our ribs start to move and change shape as we make room for baby. Let's just take two more here. Coming under and then opening up. Last one. And then release. Good. Stretch those arms away. I'm going to hug the arms across the body now, taking one arm on top of the other. And then depending on how you feel, you can either stay here and just reach the fingertips across the backs of the shoulder blades, or we can bend at the elbows, bring in the backs of the hands or the palms together for eagle stretch. So here I've got the elbows crossed. Once I release that elbow, I lose that stretch. And then I can push up to the ceiling. And now, whichever of those postures, whether you're in eagle or just in that shoulder hug, you should have a lovely big stretch across the backs of the shoulder blades. So let's breathe into that space now. If you're with me in eagle stretch, as you exhale, just push the hands a little higher. Or if you're in that hug, just drop the chin towards the chest. Last breath here. And then as we exhale, release. Let's just give those shoulders a little roll by bringing the hands to the shoulders into those backward circles. Excellent. We're going to take that on the other side. So again, stretching the arms out, bringing the opposite arm on top this time. And it might feel quite different from one side to the other. So again, either in your hug, reaching the fingertips around the back of the spine, or bending the elbows into whatever hand grip you can get for your eagle stretch. And again, as I breathe in, I'm breathing into the back of those shoulder blades. As I exhale, if I can, I'm lifting up to create a little bit more space. If I'm in that hug, I might want to drop the chin towards the chest, as long as we're creating space in the back of that body. One more breath here. And then releasing out. Again, bringing those hands to the shoulders, and let's just back circle. So this little routine that we're flowing through here, it's a nice one to do before bed, or maybe at your desk if you're still at work. This is also really useful postnatally to counter all those nursing postures and tensions that we hold in our shoulders. Let's move that into a little bit of backstroke now as we start to allow the chest and spine to move into a bit more rotation. So just flowing steady with the breath. Good. And then let's change direction, sending that forwards and round. Good. And then bringing the hands down to the knees, and let's take some circles, so our little cauldron stir. As I inhale, the chest comes up and forwards. Exhale, rounding the spine away. Just move at your own speed, finding space. And then let's change direction. Really starting to work into the spine now. Okay, last couple of circles. Excellent. We're going to open up through the left leg now. So again, I'm still perched forwards on my block or my blanket. Any discomfort through the pubic bone, then bring that back to more of a parallel position. Sweeping that left arm down, reaching the right arm up. Again, taking that breath into that right side of the body. We're then going to turn the hand on that right side so the back of the hand comes into the small of the back. And then as I inhale, I'm going to turn that right shoulder away from me. I've got this big stretch across the front of the body, all the way into the tip of that right shoulder. Breathing into that space that the stretch creates. Breathing out, just see if you can lengthen that stretch through that left arm a little further. And then coming back up, folding that leg in. And let's take that on the other side. So stretching away through the right leg, left leg's folded in, right arm reaches down, left arm reaches over. Again, nice big breath into that side of the body. Then taking the arm around, bringing the back of the hand into the small of the back. And on that inhale, turn that shoulder backwards, opening up the front of the body, bump, inner thigh. Here the pelvic floor's on stretch as well. It's a lovely big release. One last breath here, see if we can find some more length and rotation before we release and return. Folding that leg back in, taking away whatever you've got underneath your bottom. Hands are coming behind me, I'm stepping the feet wider, and then that windscreen wiper movement with the knees. Again, I don't need to touch the floor with the knees, I'm just pressing down to create a little bit of space in the hips. Good stuff. And then from here, I'm going to bring myself round into 4-point kneeling. Taking your time as you move, stacking the knees underneath the hips and the hands underneath the shoulders. From here, let's just take some cat stretches. So as we exhale, we round our bumps and babies up to the spine and up to the ceiling. And as we inhale, we lengthen out the other way. And again, exhale, draw bump in a little bit more. Using that exhale. Here we could add a little bit of pelvic floor lift if we wanted to, or just let that pelvic floor stay nice and relaxed. Good. Again, flowing with the breath. Exhale, drawing up, and inhale, lengthening into cat-cow. Good. And again, just nice, slow, mindful movements. Last one here. And then releasing the spine. Take the knees a little wider, and then let's just sway the hips from side to side. Using the weight of the hips just to open up the spine, like the tail is just wagging from left to right. And then we're going to take some circles with the hips. I'm imagining like I've got a pencil between my bum cheeks and I'm just drawing a circle on the wall behind. That upper body's staying fairly soft and still. And I'm just opening up that pelvis, feeling that space between the tailbones widening, changing direction. Good. From here, I'm going to step the left leg forwards. This is where if you feel a little tight in the hips, you could bring some blocks in place just to help keep the chest lifted. My left leg's gone slightly wider at this stage. So earlier in pregnancy, you could stay with the foot forwards, but as bumps get a little bigger, I've taken that foot out just to give the pelvis a little bit more space. I could be hands flat on the floor, or I could be using blocks. What I don't want is the chest dropping down, so I'm using the blocks to lift that chest. And then we're lunging forwards and backwards. It depends when you do this during the day. If this is in the morning, you might find you need a little bit more underneath the hands, or if you're fairly new to yoga, whereas you feel your mobility improves, you might find you can come lower. The main thing is that you feel you're getting the benefit out of the stretch rather than worrying too much about how low you are or what that posture looks like. So as I'm lunging forwards, I'm inhaling and lifting the chest. Exhale, just softening back. Good. And then from here, I'm going to stay into that lunge. I'm using my left elbow now just to push that knee open a little further. And then I'm going to bring that right hand behind me and feel that stretch again through the front of the body. Breath in here. And then exhale, release. From here, I'm pushing the weight down through the left leg, and we're coming up into a kneeling crescent pose. Lengthening up through the front of the body. I'm trying not to just to collapse into the lower back. So I'm pushing into the hips to find that stretch. Reaching the hands behind us, and then let's open up that chest even further. Squeezing the elbows together. Nice big inhale here. And then exhale, coming forwards. Again, bringing the hands down towards the mat, the blocks, wherever you are. Options to stay here, or if you want to, you can tuck the toes under and just lengthen that back leg away, deepening that stretch through the hips, keeping that chest lifted. Again, breathing into this posture and then releasing down. From there, I step that left leg back round. Take a moment in child pose. If you've got a block, you might even want to rest the forehead on the block here. I could take a little sway in the hips from one side to the other. Again, just bringing that heart rate back down before we take all of this on the other side. So when you're ready, that right foot's going to come forwards this time. Again, stepping through, using the width of your mat if you need it. Blocks again on the floor or hands. And then just reaching forwards and backwards. So for me today, I just feel a little stiff around the hips. I've had quite a busy week. So I'm just using those blocks just to help me lift that chest, create the space and comfort that I need in my body today. And the thing with pregnancy is that body is always changing. So you might work this flow one day and feel great. Others you might feel quite stiff. So just listening to your body is so, so important during pregnancy. Good. And I'm just adding a little rock into that hip as I come forwards, because that's just what feels like my body needs today. And then from here, I'm going to stay forwards in that lunge, pushing that elbow open, reaching that left hand behind me into that open twist. I've got that stretch across the front of the body. Breathing in here. And then breathing out, returning to center. Pressing the weight down through this right leg as I lengthen the arms up and through into that kneeling crescent pose. I can feel that stretch through that left hip now, opening up the body, but again, watching I don't just collapse into the back of those hips. And then sweeping the arms into the small of the back. Again, continue to open up that chest further. Here, if you wanted to, you could even push the tongue into the roof of the mouth and the chin to the ceiling. The tension in the throat here and the jaw muscles are directly linked to the pelvic floor. So releasing out through that chest area can really help in our pelvic area. Good. Bringing the hands back down towards the mat and tucking the toes under on that left foot. I can stay here with that chest lifted, or options to take that stronger stretch. Again, listening to your body and the stage that you're at in pregnancy. Keeping the chest lifted and the shoulders soft. And then releasing the knee back down. Sending that right leg behind. And again, taking a moment in child pose. Knees wider if you need to. Relaxing the forehead on a block, the floor, or you could stack your hands up and just rest the forehead onto your fists. And let's just take 4 or 5 breaths here. The pelvic floor is nice and relaxed. If it feels like you want to sway the hips a little bit here, that's absolutely okay too. Again, just listening to your body. We're coming up into kneeling now. And this is where you'll need a cushion, a bolster, or some blocks to assist. Or you could use the back of a chair or the sofa. So we're going to do a modified camel pose. Again, it's about creating space through the front of the body. So often pregnancy, with the nature of our pelvis being tilted forwards and the weight from baby and boobs on the front of the body, that shortens and tightens up through the thighs. So this is a nice way of just opening up and releasing. So I'm going to use 2 yoga blocks here, or I could use the bolster. Again, depends on how tight you are as to what you feel you need. You could work with a cushion underneath the hips, between the heels. And then from here, I'm just going to try and push the hips forwards. Now in full camel pose, you'd actually have the toes tucked under, the hands on the heels, and then you push the body forwards. But that's quite strong in pregnancy, so we modify it. And if you feel like you can't get very far, you can come up higher. I can either have the toes tucked under, that gives me an even deeper stretch, or I can have the toes relaxed. I relax through those shoulders, and then I'm lengthening that body up and through. If this doesn't feel right for you today, then just either come back to child pose or cat stretches and then meet us once we've finished this posture. What I'm avoiding is any discomfort through the lower back. So I don't want to just thrust forwards. I want to feel like I'm peeling up through the thighs. If I was using a bolster, that could come behind me, or it could come underneath me, and I could sit into that posture, and that might be strong enough for you. So taking that posture up and forwards again here, if I was higher up, I'm going to get that opening straight away. But as soon as I feel any discomfort through that lower back, then modify by taking those arms a bit higher. Again, like before in crescent pose, if you wanted to, you could push the jaw or the tongue into the roof of the mouth. And again, we're opening in this front fascial sling right through the front of the body. The shoulders are opening back and down. breathing here, just feeling that stretch through the front of the thighs. But any discomfort, then bring it back towards that child pose posture. Last 2 breaths here. So again, this is great if you've been sitting all day, just to open up that body in that counter position. Slowly bringing those hips back down, and we'll take that as a counter pose into child pose, knees wider, hands forwards, either on the outstretched or on the elbows. And again, just relaxing here as we close the body back down for a moment. Walking the hands back up into that kneeling position. Taking the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, coming back down through the prayer position. Same as we started. If you need anything underneath the knees, that's fine. Good. Let's take one more. And then this last one, arms are coming up. And we're imagining like we're climbing up a rope. So we're just stretching through the arms. You should feel this opening into the sides of the ribs and into your bump. Again, just finishing creating space in that trunk, rib cage, shoulders. Good. And then to finish, let's just circle out the wrists. Releasing down and through. We're just going to finish with a little bit of breath work. So if you want to grab any props to come into a sitting position as we started, whether that's cross-legged or into your hero pose on your bolster. So as you get comfortable now, or you could come into side lying on your left side if that feels more for you, especially if you're doing this at the back end of the day and starting to unwind, ready for bedtime. So here again, I invite you to either have the palms open, hands to baby, or one hand to heart and one hand to baby. And again, options to just blink the eyelids closed or drop the eye line down as we just finish with a few rounds of our golden thread breath or our up breath. Bringing the senses in now as we start to bring our awareness to sounds around us, music in the background, voices talking, cars passing. So again, when we're in our birthing environment, there may be doctors and midwives talking, there might be machines bleeping, or if you're at home, the neighbour's dog might be barking. And so it's being aware of these distractions and sounds and starting to bring that focus from outside the room to in the room, and from the room into your own body. And as we visualize that breath traveling through and around that rectangle, inhale as we breathe through the short side. Exhale as we breathe through the long side. Or maybe you're counting and just making that exhale slightly longer than the inhale. Whatever's been working for you with your breath practice. And as the heart rate starts to slow and our focus turns internally deeper and deeper, just give the body permission to relax. Imagine a golden light above you or the sun beaming down. Just allow the warmth to ripple over the face, the scalp, the jaw. Just melting tension down Relaxing and releasing. As that warm light travels over the shoulders, that heaviness feels like it starts to lift and soften. As that warm light trickles down the arms, into the hands, the fingertips, melting away any tension that you're holding in that upper body. Almost like wax on a candle, melting and dripping away. Feel that warm light now traveling over the front of your chest and heart center, and down and over your bump and baby, filling you with love and strength, positivity and calmness. And that warm light now just ripples up and down the spine, melting the tension from the lower back and hips and pelvis into that space below you as it washes away. The thighs, the calves, the tops of the feet, the ankles, the soles of the feet and the toes soften under that warm beam of light, comforting and releasing. That whole light now just wraps and embraces the body like a warm hug, comforting and supporting your body as it nurtures and grows the baby inside you. That empowering feeling that you have grown a human inside you, and that your body is amazing, that nature can do this. As we start to deepen the breath now, feeling the body start to expand. On that inhale, drawing energy back in. And remembering that moment, how you feel calm and still and relaxed. The breath is a powerful way of allowing calmness into the mind and body. Releasing the hands away from the chest or bump as we just circle out the wrists. Maybe wiggling the toes or circling the ankles depending on your sitting position. Taking a breath in, tensing up through the shoulders, the jaw, the hands, the toes, and then shaking away, slowly releasing and opening the eyes and bringing that focus back into the room. Well done.